Lamont Hill. You know she used to date Marc Lamont Hill. Did you know that?
Oh shit!
They
The
said
one
I
that sound like
was being really
Charlamagne.
shady to him the last time I did VH1 Live, but I don't remember what I said.
Yo, he sound just like Charlamagne.
But did you miss the point that I said Melissa and him used to date?
Really?
Yeah.
She does. She owns up
Anyway,
to
let
it.
me stop telling
Yeah,
her
we
this.
did. I mean, I
He's
adore.
a great guy.
I adore Marc. He is awesome.
Urban Artificial Intelligence Strategic Thinking Media Platform. This shit is crazy, man. It's been a lot of speculation about Melissa Ford absence from the Joe Budden podcast. And it's been a lot of tense moments that myself, I didn't understand. It was some jokes that went over my head. And I don't watch every single minute of the Joe Budden podcast like I used to. I watch a lot of clips. I watch a lot of, you know what I'm saying? Maybe every other episode, I listen to a whole episode. But I watch a lot of clips and I consume it in clips. So I sometimes I don't know everything that's going on, but a lot of questions was answered recently. A lot of questions about the inside jokes that was going on that, you know, the audience was kind of left out in the dark about. All right, a lot of these instances come from the fact that Melissa Ford and Marc Lamont Hill used to date. Yes, I didn't know this. And from what I'm seeing on the internet, not a lot of people knew this. Get in the comments. Did y'all know that Marc Lamont Hill and Melissa Ford used to date? I did not know that. So when that came to light, salute to Danny from the Stop, some other people from the JBPTV community page on X, formerly Twitter. They do great work. Chig Smooth, they do great work. They know every fucking thing that's going on with the Joe Budden podcast. It's kind of crazy, man. They know shit that I don't feel like nobody outside of that room should know, that in that podcast studio should know, but they figure it out. I don't know how. Salute to them. The jokes that I was talking about, the inside jokes that I was talking about, stem from the JBP basketball game. All right, y'all remember the Joe Budden basketball game? All right, it was a funny episode. A lot of funny things happened. People was clowning their basketball skills. You know, it was a lot of jokes going, you know, flying around. It was just a fun episode, right? Now, during that episode, Queen's Flip was making jokes and he was saying Big Mel. Now, when I heard him say Big Mel, of course, I thought he was talking about Melissa Ford. He wasn't. We're going to get to that later. He also made a joke where he was just talking about how Melissa Ford was constantly hanging around Ish and Flip. All right? Which was funny, but I didn't really see why that was that funny. It was later revealed why, okay? During that JBP basketball game, Marc Lamont Hill's wife was there, okay? Her name is Melissa as well. So when Flip was referring to Big Mel, he was talking about Marc Lamont's wife, not Melissa Ford. Now, in real time, the majority of the audience did not notice. This was extremely clever for Flip because he knew, because Melissa Ford and Marc Lamont's wife got the same first name, he could interchangeably use Mel, and people who didn't know Marc Lamont's wife was named Melissa wouldn't know. Most people didn't know that, right? So salute to Queen's Flip for that, which Joe brought Queen's Flip for that reason, for that specific reason. As time goes by, bringing Flip makes more and more sense. But anyway, the reason that Mel was just, you know, basically always around Flip and Ish is because Marc Lamont Hill's wife was there. Queen's Flip was making fun of this point. He kept saying she didn't want to go around Big Mel. She seen Big Mel. She seen Big Mel. And again, people didn't really know what he meant. Now it's all making sense, all right? And not to mention, somebody else on Reddit said Imani and Melissa Ford used to date. So that's kind of crazy. And I got this question for Joe. Now, maybe Imani recently smashed Melissa Ford. But I wonder, did Joe Budden know Marc Lamont Hill and Melissa Ford used to date? If he knew that and he brought Marc Lamont Hill on the show, that is a fucking genius move. That is an absolute genius move. I can't see him not knowing that. With him being in the entertainment industry, it would that now this was revealed on Hollywood Unlocked. I don't know if this was a new or old episode, if it was a new episode or it was an old episode that people dug up. Melissa Ford admitted to having dated Marc Lamont Hill on Hollywood Unlocked. if Joe Budden knew this and still brought Marc Lamont Hill on, that was a genius move because that's the type of dynamic that he wanted to add to the podcast. Now, am I saying Joe Budden knew that Imani was going to smash Melissa? No. And that's not confirmed. It is, highly speculative that Imani and Melissa Ford hooked up. Now, if Joe Budden, I don't think he could have foreseen that, but bringing a ex on a show, having an ex couple on your show, that's great. That's great entertainment. And if you notice, Marc Lamont Hill is really less sensitive with Melissa than everybody else. And I always wonder why, and it makes perfect sense. After you fuck a female, you're not really nice to them like that no more. Let's be real. Let's have an honest moment. That's how men are. It makes perfect sense. If you in a room with 5 women and you done fucked 2 of them, you're gonna tell, the 2 that you fucked, they're gonna get the more offensive jokes. They're good, you know what I'm saying? And not in a mean way, not in a rude way, but you're gonna be less gentle with the 2 that you fucked, which makes perfect sense why Marc Lamont Hill talks to Melissa the way he does. Look at the way Ish and Flip talk to Melissa. Especially when she first got on the show. Everybody kind of tiptoed around anything that would get her riled up. Now, later on, they got more comfortable with her. But even from the beginning, Marc Lamont Hill would make jokes on Melissa. He would talk shit to her. If he seen that she was lying or wasn't being honest, he would call her out because he fucked her already. That's why. It makes perfect sense. It makes 100% sense. Now, that don't mean be an asshole after you fuck a girl, and he's not an asshole to her. But y'all know what I mean, man. Y'all don't act like y'all don't know what I mean. When you fuck a female, after the initial fucking, you're more relaxed around her. Let me say that. You're not gonna walk on eggshells around no female you fucked. Your mind is just different after that. And we've seen that in Marc Lamont Hill. Now, I'm starting to think, did Joe smash? Get in the comments and let me know. I don't look at Melissa Ford no type of way. I don't think Melissa Ford is a hoe. I have, immense respect for her. She's a good podcaster. I wasn't a fan of her solo podcast. It was more for women, but she's a good podcaster. I don't have nothing against her. This is just an interesting dynamic, and it's even more interesting if Joe was the architect of this. That's crazy that he foreseen this because they act like exes now. Now that we know that they had a past relationship, the way they act, it makes sense. It just makes sense. And it also makes sense why Imani and Marc always go at each other because they both fuck Melissa or Imani's about to and Marc already did. It makes sense. I used to be like, damn, why Marc joking on Imani? I thought they knew each other from the past. I was like, he must know him from the past and it wasn't super disrespectful jokes, but every time it's a chance to talk about Imani, Marc Lamont Hill take that chance. And I'm like, damn, or maybe they got a relationship, blah, blah. No, they both was fucking with Melissa. Or Marc Lamont has in the past. Imani is probably trying to now. Crazy dynamic. Again, if Joe Budden did this on purpose, man, he is the podfather for real. Because this is not anything that I could have foreseen. It don't even seem like Marc Lamont Hill and Melissa are compatible romantically. But you never know. Melissa is bad. In her younger years, obviously she was badder. So salute Marc Lamont Hill, man. But y'all get in the comments, man. Let me know what y'all think about this. How far will this go? And is Melissa Ford going to stay on the Joe Budden podcast? I'm starting to think the jokes are getting a little bit too intense for her. She's been taking a lot of absences. I think the jokes are starting to get a little bit too intense for her, man. And even Imani, And let me just say this real quick before I get out of here. And I know I bring up the Rory and Mal days all the time, and I'm going to continue to, because that was the greatest, that was the greatest era of the Joe Budden podcast. In the Rory and Mal days, nobody would have ever been like, yo, can y'all stop making so many jokes about me? That wasn't a thing. Imani really says, like, yo, can y'all chill with the jokes? Like, the jokes are coming to, like, bro, did you watch the podcast before you got there? Rory and Mal and Joe used to say wild shit to each other. They used to say crazy shit to each other. Talk about deceased relatives. Talk when Rory got like divorced, or he went through something crazy with his fiance at the time. His fiance like left him. They constantly joked about that. There's no, imagine Rory or Mal being like, yo, Joe, chill out with the jokes. No, man, that's not what that podcast was built on. Imani and Melissa, y'all gotta fucking toughen up, man. Y'all have to fucking toughen up. Rory and Mal would have never said, Joe, stop with the jokes, man. And when Imani said that, I was like, God damn, bro. Like, come on, man. It's just jokes, bro. But hey, who am I, man? Who am I? If he's sensitive, let him be sensitive, man. Either way, it's a good podcast. I'm rocking with it. Let me know what y'all think, though. Urban Artificial Intelligence, the strategic thinking media platform. I'm going to see y'all on the next episode. Peace.